And we're back with another episode of Toon Talk TV, the #1 animated podcast on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/wearethetelevision. Guys, we're back with another tune. Today we got a nice little tasty tune from Bob here. Bob, why don't you take it away?
So this cartoon was called Wizard King's Court by Dungeon Soup. And this one came out about like 2 weeks ago. Their Dungeon Soup is a channel on YouTube that puts out a lot of D&D based content, which is right up our alley. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I love this shit. Hilarious stuff. So I don't know I couldn't find who Dungeon Soup actually is before I get into this. Do either of you know got a name for Dungeon Soup?
No.
Same dive, dude. I couldn't find anything. He's a ghost. He's a ghost.
So check this out.
Or she.
Maybe it's a collection. Maybe they're playing a campaign and they're putting their story together or something, or making jokes out of it. Yeah.
But I did find on their Patreon this little snippet, and I thought this was gold. This is in the About section of the Dungeon Soup Patreon. After years of animating for studio productions, my passion, spirit, and soul has been shattered. Then I started making these silly fantasy animations, and my passion came rushing back. Support me, and maybe someday I can work on my passion full time, and in return, you'll get even more Dungeon Soup.
Oh, I want to support. That's amazing.
Right? Right? Isn't that gold? Isn't that gold? It feels real.
My spirit was shattered.
It feels true.
I feel that, dude. That's relatable.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is cool stuff because in all of the Dungeon Soup shorts, they're very I'm pretty sure that they come straight out of their Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which makes it even better. And this one specifically is about Dirt Dog Slim being on trial for first-degree wizard murder, and the one overseeing the trial is the old senile mumbling wizard that is the Wizard King, and hilarious character creation out of every one of these characters. I think you got to go watch it. I don't even want to spoil it for anyone, but I'm gonna go deeper into more than just the short. I'm gonna talk about the channel a little bit. Do you guys want to talk about the short a little before I talk about the channel?
No, I mean, we could talk a little bit about it. I mean, I don't have too much to say. I'm more interested in the whole channel. I have kind of questions too. Did you do a deep dive on the channel? Like, I did, because honestly, this one was hilarious, and they all were hilarious. Oh, okay. Are characters reoccurring, or are they all just okay?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So it does feel like a campaign then.
Somewhat. You could tell that there's characters that just made a good struck a chord with them. And they decided to use maybe aspects of that character in another character later on. But there are some reoccurring characters here and there. There's only 13 videos on the channel. I'm pretty much
like maybe scenes from campaigns. Like they could have been like certain scenes that happen across the adventure. But I also watched every single video that they had because it had me hooked. But for this one specifically, it had this like an Adventure Time style to it.
It did.
Like, and that's kind of one of my guilty pleasure shows that I always just put on and watch because the world is so vast, so many characters. I like adventure. It itself reminds me of a type of Dungeons and Dragons type ordeal. So the minute that I watched this, I was hooked. I went down the entire channel as well. But give me with your thoughts, Bob.
Even the humor.
Well, wait. I want to touch on what you just said.
Even the humor, exactly.
It was very silly, and I think that's something that it makes great for a children's animation, which even broadens the range. Like this isn't just for adults; this is for everyone.
Well, I will say though, there is. For some reason I've seen clips of Adventure Time and I've always wanted to like it, but every time I've watched full episodes, there's something that didn't pull me in very much, and I feel like this corrected that. I feel like there's some type of adult tone to it. It's more It's a little rough around the edges compared
to, I feel that.
But everything else, like visually, I totally understand where you get the adventure time.
Yeah.
So some more of these characters in the Dungeon Soup characters, I just want to touch on. This is amazing character creation, and this could be from other characters that they play with in their campaign. Like this may not just be them, but one of the first, I think there's a few episodes of this that exist on the channel. It's called Gnome Quest. And in Gnome Quest, there's this character. They're all gnomes. It's a band full of. It's like a full group of gnomes, gnome wizards, and one of them is Nick the Caged, and it's literally Nick Cage as a gnome wizard. It's fucking hilarious.
I love it.
Nick the Cage.
Fucking hilarious. And you need to just go back and check out that character because everything about it is so Nick Cage. Even in like everything about the character, the voice, whoever does the voice sounds just like Nick Cage. And they replicated the face of Nick Cage on this fucking gnome, dude. It's hilarious.
I love it.
Mick, have you ever played RuneScape?
I have not. I've watched many videos of RuneScape, but I personally have never played.
I haven't either. It seems right up your alley as like something that happened before Baldur's Gate, you know, like very EverQuest looking, early World of Warcraft looking game. There's a story about about this person playing RuneScape in middle school and fucking up royally that everyone needs to go back and watch. It's
What do you mean? This is a story of the person,
a real story that they animated.
The Dungeon Soup person, or
yes.
this? So this isn't even like part of that campaign. This is just something real world different. On the channel,
So part of this channel is it seemed like the first few videos they didn't quite knock it down to a science of we're just going to put out these D&D shorts. It was more of like I'm an animator. I'm going to animate whatever I feel like. And this is one of those things.
Oh, okay, cool.
Later on, Joel Haver shows up. Joel Haver shows up in one of their animations. And we've talked about his animations before, I believe, right? We've talked about Joel.
Possibly. I don't know. But I have something to talk about him, actually. I just saw a video that's kind of cool. Off topic, but whatever.
Okay, so he exists kind of in the same realm of animation and a lot of like RPG games. And I know he did a Baldur's Gate animation, Life, but it's Baldur's Gate 3. So, I mean, go check him out. I feel like if we'll link to a talk that we talked about. If I don't know if we aired it. If we didn't air it, maybe we won't. So my question with this one is more an inner based question. I'd like to ask ourselves. We also do a fantastic D&D campaign. Just the other day, we had one of the most epic battles, and it's becoming a very creative story with Mick as our dungeon master. I'm wondering, how could we use such a cool concept like Dungeon Soup has created and also use that in our animations?
That's a great question. That is a fantastic question that I personally have been trying to figure out, which is why I record sessions so we have dialogue that's not forced, but it's like real things that we actually said during the game.
Right.
So you don't have to go back and think, what would my character say in this situation? You've already said it. We've already recorded it. All we have to do is just take that language and do whatever we want. Fred, what are your thoughts on this?
I've thought of this many times before. I have ideas. I actually could just say them, but they all require time, a lot of time that I don't have. I don't know if you guys, but it's just,
well, that's why it's not taking the idea completely. It's just when you have such a great story that we're basically just creating for fun on the side.
Yeah.
You almost how can you take that idea and also do it with animation? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is something that people attach themselves to because we already understand that world. They're creating a world that we get. Like Strahd was in one of their last
in one of the shorts.
in one of the shorts.
Yeah.
Like these are characters that we already love and know. You know what I mean? We're part of it, and that's not just us. There's so many people who also know those characters and love them. So
yeah,
something to think about.
Yeah, maybe eventually we could start just a separate channel that's just because our story is a unique story. The characters are unique characters. We're already creating it. Like that's the hardest part about writing anything or just making a cartoon in general. Like, and then after you have that, it's like, it's just time. It's like, I drew Biro the other day. Like I could draw all of our characters and we could just animate them. It's a process that would take a long fucking time, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I like the idea of taking that story, but doing it kind of like how SKULLCRUSHER does their little 1 minute shorts, but minimal animation. It's more so like just talking about a scene. I think would be kind of hilarious because you guys do talk about some crazy stupid stuff like while we're playing D&D. But yeah, those are conversations to be had that are great. What else you got, Bob?
One more thing. Did you say Joel Haver was in one of these Dungeon Soup cartoons?
Yes. In I forget what it's fully called. I think plays the tiny man in one in one of them.
So
we'll link it in the description below.
This is completely off topic. It's just it's a cool idea and concept just to talk about that interested me. But he, for 2 years, maybe, I think he said 2 years, maybe it's been longer, but he has put out one short a week, every week for the past 2 years now. And he said that he knows he could do it. He knows he can make it well. It could be funny. This is just something he's been doing forever now. He wants to challenge himself a little bit more. So this year, he's going to make 12 feature films once every month. So
what?
So
that's quite a step up.
Out of 4 weeks, he's gonna make one and put it out on his channel. So for this entire year, he's gonna do one film every month, which is insane.
That's nuts.
That's nuts, Joel. That seems like an overcorrection, my boy.
We'll see. I mean,
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I bet it's gonna be awesome. Like honestly, if he's gonna go forward and say that, I feel like he's already created something awesome. So we'll see.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Bob? Fred?
Dungeon Soup, cool stuff. I would love to know your real name. Maybe comment that in the comments if you want,
or come talk to us on a Toon Talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come come reveal yourself on Toon. Yeah, there we go. Go check out some Dungeon Soup. We'll link it in the description below. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/WeAreTheTelevision. And yeah, that's it for this one. We'll catch you on the next one, boys.